short keynotes ready for you. If you are embarking on a journey like the startups, there are technical, legal, and regulatory considerations to be able to navigate the MedTech world. Anthony Paronneau and Richard Smith are associate and counsel at McDermott, Will, and Emery. They will lead us by the hand through that maze. Go ahead, gentlemen. I hope everything is working for you.
And I think it is.
There you go.
Great. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Hi, I'm Rich Smith. I'm counsel at McDermott, Will, and Emery in Boston. And my colleague, Anthony Paronneau, I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Anthony Paronneau. I'm a partner in the Paris office of McDermott, Will, and Emery.
And we are here today to talk about some of the technical, legal, and regulatory considerations in navigating the MedTech maze, as our slide shows. It's a very technical and can be at times difficult journey to take. So it's important to just understand that that what's being undertaken has a lot of regulatory and legal elements that need to be navigated. The pharmaceutical and medical devices, they have a lot of similarities in their regulatory and legal framework, but they also have a number of significant differences that need to be considered. So if you're familiar with the development of pharmaceuticals and you're going into medical devices, there are some adjustments you need to make. Highly fragmented industry has a complex legal and regulatory framework, which has been put in place to make sure that there's safety considerations and just make sure that the consumer gets the medical devices that they expect, and the doctors can rely on the safety and efficacy of the devices. So the question is, are you prepared? So Anthony and I have put together a number of elements we want to talk to you about to sensitize you to them and to make sure that you understand that these need to be considered when going forward. So.
Well, thank you, Rich. Just real quick, and maybe to give some background, and as you probably know, both the EU and the US use a classification scheme to determine the level of control over a medical device. There are 3 classes in the US and 4 in the EU, and in each of these territories, the classification of the medical device actually dictates the appropriate conformity assessment procedure. The higher the classification is, the greater the level of assessment is required. These 2 classification systems consider the extent of human vulnerability to a medical device, as well as other criteria, including the degree of invasiveness. In the EU, again, class 1 medical device pose low risk and only require a self-declaration, whereas approval for more complex devices are handled by notified bodies and may, for some of them, require the device to undergo clinical investigation to prove safety. One of the complexity here is that in the EU, and we have a brand new regulation, which is meant to replace the existing directive after some transitional period. So for like between 3 and 5 years, we'll have 2 sets of regulations that will coexist together. So it will not help in navigating through this MedTech maze, but that's the way it is. The new regulation is meant and has introduced a new series of improvement and changes in order to address the gaps of the past. First of all, the rules have been tightened and changed for some products. And as a result, some devices will be reclassified to higher classes. We have some clarity now around the medical device software. Generally, now they are class 2A, but they could be class 2B and class 3. The rules are a bit more clearer. For combination product as well, like pre-filled syringes. So it's something that has been improved by the new regulation. And on top of that, some medical devices which were lacking medical purpose now that present a high risk profile now fall within the scope of this new legislation. This is the case for internet-based services or devices for cleaning over medical devices. Just to make a long story short here, I think it's pretty important for the medtech industry or medtech startups to verify if and when a change of classification may apply, as it has significant operational and financial impact on your company. You may have to invest a lot of money and time for complying with these new rules. So regulatory planning is really an essential factor to keep in mind when you assess all the regulatory and legal risk in making a new device or considering a change to a known device.
If I can just add really quickly that you know, the Class 1 medical device in the U.S. Requires they're exempt from the quality regulations generally. Class 2 medical devices require what we call a 510 pre-market clearance, which is a abbreviated approval process that uses a predicate device as the basis for starting. And Class 3 medical devices require what we refer to as a PMA, a pre-market approval, the full-blown approval process. So just to follow up on one more thing that Anthony said, you have to be careful, especially in the software field, where you may add a function to the software that changes the class of the product from one class to a higher class, just based on what the software is asked to do. So balancing, coming to the regulations that are required, just to give a brief idea of some of the things that are required in the U.S. We have medical device manufacturers of record have to comply with the FDA's registration and listing requirements, their medical device reporting requirements, their labeling requirements, their good manufacturing requirements, and their quality system regulations. And the quality system regulations go, it's a quality control standard that really goes right through everything from design to manufacture to sale of the product. So it's really an overarching a sweep of what you need to do to be FDA compliant. FDA is also given broad regulatory authority to regulate by statute. So this involves inspections, warning letters, enforcement actions, and marketing and promotion as well. So the FDA statute is a strict liability statute, which means that it gives the FDA broad authority to take action against parties who cause violations. And so just in general, the FDA prohibits the introduction of adulterated or misbranded products into commerce in the US, and persons responsible for the manufacture, distribution, and sale of adulterated or misbranded products can be held responsible under the FDA. And there's a variety of enforcement tools that the FDA has, including inspections, Form FDA 483 forms, which can result in warning letters and recalls, imports, and ultimately there are some judicial remedies which can include product seizures, injunctions, and criminal prosecution for both companies and individual executives. So you have to be very cognizant of all these rules.
Just to supplement what you just said, Rich, I think unlike in the US, the issue with the European regulatory framework is that we are not relying on a centralized process. We don't have the equivalent of the FDA. We actually, significant authorities actually conferred on governmental and private bodies, which oversees the device evaluation, the market approval, and the post-market surveillance. So that decentralization led and still leads to some discrepancy from a country to another, and make the regulatory assessment that you make in the EU even more complex than in the US. well, while the new regulation brings some clarity, it doesn't really address all the matters and concerns that you may face when marketing or changing a medical device in the member states. That was one of the issues. Also, it's also important that you keep in mind that now the new regulation places further responsibility on the notified bodies, which are empowered to carry out inspection on the device manufacturer, but also on their subcontractors, and the notified body themselves are under higher scrutiny from the European Union. So we have, to make a long story short, we have tougher requirements, and the concern that we may have in the long term is that it could lead to potentially greater time to certification, and thereby also creating a disincentive for bringing new medical device to the market.
I think.
Sorry, I skipped.
We're both. I think we're both clicking at the same time. Okay, so this Zoom. So just to sum up some other legal considerations in the U.S. Of course, there's and this also, of course, goes to the European GDPR rules, but HIPAA, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, and the European Union's General Data Protection Regulations really do deal with the processing and use of personal data. And it's a very important rule in the U.S. as it is in the EU. And there can also be federal and state additional privacy rules that need to that may govern depending on what state you're operating in the U.S. And these can impose cybersecurity and breach notification requirements. And companies really do need to conduct an assessment of the applicability of privacy laws and regulations and appropriate contracts for the devices that, any device that extracts, captures, or stores or de-identifies patient data or other protected information on the device, in the cloud, or on remote servers really needs to pay particular attention to HIPAA and GDPR rules. Finally, there's the fraud and abuse statutes in the U.S., which also are very important when it comes to development and marketing and presentations, dealing with doctors in the U.S. and healthcare providers generally. And the risks all depend on the financial model used to pay for the device, and especially need to be careful for any devices that are reimbursed by any federal programs, Medicare, Medicaid, because a failure to properly deal with the statute could result in violations under the fraud and abuse laws. And with that, I think we'll go to our key questions.
Right. Actually, what we've tried to do with Rich is just to put on the screen what we view as a key question, just to ask yourself when you are putting on the market a medical device or changing your medical device. First of all, and that's based on experience, the regulatory assessment is key. So have you conducted one on your key markets? Because again, it's not harmonized everywhere. So you may have different rules in the EU, in the US, in Asia. So it's really important to keep that in mind. Also, have you considered all regulatory impact prior to making any change to your medical device? That may sound logical, but that sometimes we see projects with downgrade or upgrades that change to the classification. As Rich said, have you conducted a reimbursement assessment or modeling for your medical device, or does your medical device store patient data on the device in the cloud or elsewhere? That's for data and the HIPAA and GDPR, so that's pretty important. And all these questions, it's not a lawyer thing or regulatory thing. It's something that is concrete. Is it something that your acquirer may look at, that the investors also look at? So it's probably best just to make a proper regulatory assessment and to have this question actually in mind before undertaking any financing rounds or actually sale process.
I think that's right. All of this needs to be done very early in the process so that you have the answers when the questions come up. And I think with that, we're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Wonderful to have some of these insights. Thank you, Anthony and Richard. Now, our second keynote, Ana Maiques, CEO of Neuroelectric, has been able to go all the way from pure science to developing a therapy for patients suffering from epilepsy, Alzheimer, or depression, and that can impact millions of patients. She shares the lessons that she's learned along the way. Ana, the screen is yours. And I hope that you can hear us and that we can hear you. I think there might be an issue. I don't see her on the list here as well. Let me quickly check what's going on. Oh, she just dropped off the call. I'm sure that she will be rejoining us. It does happen every now and then. It is a virtual event. And of course, we would have loved to do this like the other years in person on a wonderful location. But I'm happy that you could join us this way all around from Europe. Now we're just waiting for Ana to rejoin and see if everything works properly again. Until that time, why not take a look at the startups that we've seen today that have been pitching? I will just open that document very quickly. First of all, we had 13 startups that were presenting here today. And the first that we saw in the morning, and of course, I hope that all of you joined us during the entire day, we've seen HNT from Baptiste Biloir. And then we saw the other startup that was there, that was Amparo, Lucas Paz de Melo, and that was the one about the prosthetic leg. You might be able to remember that one as well. Then we went on to Aortix, and they are working on a solution to basically patch aorta holes. And that is a major improvement because it would be much more cost effective and also a much faster solution. I think that Ana is back with us now. Of course, during the day, we saw so many more pitches, and during your network break, the jury got together, went over all their scores, and they should be able to announce the winners in a few moments. So we're going to listen to Kurt, who has the honor to do that. Now, let's see. I hope that Ana is there. Just checking. You can hear me? Not quite. At least I'm not hearing anything back. I don't think it is working yet. She's in the call, but she can't do anything. I see that her microphone is turned off and now on again.
Can you hear me again?
Yes, there you are. Wonderful. Let me just do your introduction really quick again, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. As I mentioned, you work as a CEO for Neuroelectric, and you've made that whole journey from research to actually having a successful company, and you're going to share some insights with us. So for now, the screen is yours. There you go, Ana.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to share, thanks for the invitation, sorry for the technical issues, but I just wanted to share our journey on going from science to the market, because I think it's really relevant for the EIT, how really there are so many companies in Europe, right, in which we really are passionate about science, but how hard it is to, to go into building a successful company. And I've seen many of the pitches today. I've been connecting in and out all day and seeing all these wonderful companies. So I hope our experience may also help others. So, so this is a picture of the Observatory Fabra. This is at the top of the Tibidabo mountain in Barcelona. This is where my co-founder and me, we started a company called Starlab almost 20 years ago. I often joke with my American friends and say, well, you start companies in garage, but what about us? We have historic buildings, beginning of the century, which is a pretty awesome way to start a company, right? So we started in 2000, this company called Starlab, with the passion to do great science, and that's why we chose this beautiful observatory because of the science, but also with the commitment to take it into the market. And if you think about it, I am a business person, I did study economics, and my co-founder is a physicist and mathematician. So it's this marriage between science and business from day one. So, you know, there was multidisciplinary as co-founders from the very first day. So our obsession was, can you transform science into something with a social impact? We wanted to do good, and we were very ethical about that. We carefully selected what we wanted to do with the science. And we were tempted to go into very different areas, but we always objected and said, no, we want to have a positive impact on society. And we chose two areas, space and neuroscience, space as a way to monitor the Earth. And we thought back in 2000 that climate change and neuroscience, the brain, were two areas where humanity would have to really get up to speed and develop new science. And I think that 20 years after, I still think they're prime time. You know, both climate change and neuroscience are super hot topics. And bottom line is we haven't advanced that much. I mean, these are very, very difficult problems to solve, and they really need deep tech. They really, really need new technologies to rethink the whole field. So that's how we started. And we were so fortunate to have the European Commission. I remember our first ever grant was on the framework program, I believe it was 5 or 6. And since that first program, we've been, you know, counting with the amazing support of the Commission, to the extent that I accepted an advisory board seat at the European Innovation Council, because I really think I need to give back, because we wouldn't be here without the support of the Commission. And all this money that they gave us, you know, to do research. And this was very complicated research, you know, from sensors to hardware to software to emotional monitoring, medical applications, you name it, so many projects. And just 6 months ago, we got an ERC grant, a synergy grant from the European Research Council, which is still, after 20 years, we still do good science, which is pretty amazing. So for the scientists out there that want to do a company, you don't have to give up your science. You can do amazing science. You can have an ERC at a company. So don't let people tell you that you have to select between science and business, because that's a lie, right? So we still do great science, and we still count with the support of the Commission, right? But one of the things I learned in my life, you know, doing all this science, one of the things I learned is that if you go to programs like the Future and Emergency Technologies Program, FET, we proposed to the Commission that we wanted to connect two brains. We wanted to do brain-to-brain communication. And this was a crazy idea back, you know, 8 years ago. And one of the things we learned is that we did connect two brains. We did brain-to-brain communication. But one of the things I learned is you have to be super ambitious. We connected a brain in India and another in France, non-invasively. They were able to communicate without any sensory information. But the lesson to me is that programs like FET, you have to shoot for the moon, because even if you fail, right, we connected two brains, but at the end, what we got is an amazing technology that we could use to help patients that need support today. So we didn't decide to go like Elon Musk to the communication. We decided to use this to help patients that are in super need today. And although this is a beautiful idea and people will be thrilled to learn more about all this science, I have to tell you that to go from an idea to the market, I think is a nightmare. Because even in the European Commission projects, you have a prototype that works and you think you have a product. And it's a total lie. I mean, I spend much more money from the company to go from prototype to product than on the first phase of the research. So to have something robust, repeatable, that can be sold, and that customers will be happy, I think that's super hard to do. So don't you believe that if you have a prototype, you have a product? Because I think those are very, very different, you know, things that you have to bear in mind. I often think of ourselves as Madonna or myself, not because I sing well, but because from the idea to the market, from the science to the market, you have to reinvent yourself constantly. So you have to really make an amazing effort to be flexible and think, this is not like a virgin anymore. This is, this is the new times, the new music. So you have to go all the way, from science to the market and adapt yourself, right? And I think that's something that sometimes scientists or maybe Europeans, we have a little bit of trouble, to adapting to that transition. So when we had this brain technology that was coming out of all these European projects, we had three options to make a commercial success. So we consider, can we license this to a big pharma, a big European pharma? Maybe we can do a joint venture with a big communications company or with another company, or we can spin it off from a startup, because a startup was still a pretty much research company, right? So at the end, we decided to do a spin-off, and the spin-off is called Neuroelectric. Why? Because the people we would recruit at Neuroelectric was super different from the people we have at startup. Like, we started to recruit engineers, electronic engineers, people of production, people from regulatory, market access, like totally different profiles. And we needed the focus to be a medical device company. And this is what we did in 2011, a fully owned startup spin-off company called Neuroelectric. And the goal was to do brain health and how to help patients with brain health. So in this audience, at least 1 out of 5 of us is going to develop one of these diseases, right? And for many, there is not yet a cure. So what we have developed, and I'm going to wear it now because I think that's, do you see my screen? I guess so. So this is the technology that we have developed at the company through all these projects. This is a wireless technology, plenty of electrodes. It's wireless, so I can be here, in my office, and it does 2 things. It monitors your brain. It's called EEG, or reading your brain, right? For electroencephalography, it's called. But it also, any of these electrodes that I'm wearing can inject electrical currents into the brain. So it's also a brain stimulation device. And this form of stimulation, which doesn't hurt and it's very mild, change some functions in the brain and in the neurons that may be beneficial for different diseases. And if you couple that with EEG, which is the monitoring side, you may come with a completely new way to treat brain diseases. And I'm going to show you how it works. So let's take epilepsy. In the case of epilepsy, you go to the doctor, you get an MRI, you get an EEG, and they say where the focus is. Through all this research, we have developed brain models, so we can model 3D your brain, see where the target is, in this case, this target map, and then optimize through AI how many electrodes and how much current we need to inject into your brain to help you with your disease. In this case, reduce your epileptic seizures. And this is downloaded in the comfort of the home to the device, so patients can receive personalized stimulation at home. So this, that is super cool, and in fact is super cool, it's all developed, in Europe, right? And thanks to European money. So let me show you how this works because I cannot make a real-time demo, but here in the video, you can get an idea of how this therapy would work. So you go to the doctor, you get your EEG for sleep disorders, for epilepsy, in the future for Alzheimer's, you get your MRI, and then the doctor defines what is the area or the network of areas in the brain that they want to excite or inhibit. And then our system builds this 3D model of your brain based on your MRI and computes how much electricity, how many electrodes, excitatory or inhibitory, we need to inject to really get that desired effect into the brain. And this could be in a network matter. So it's pretty awesome. And then this is downloaded on the device and you get better. So back in 2015, I moved to Boston, to the US, because one of the things we wanted to do after having such a strong European-born presence was to really get through the FDA. To me, the FDA is one of the most hard regulatory agencies in the world. And we thought it really, to make a change, we really need to go through the FDA. So we went to Boston Children's, we opened Neuroelectric Corporation, and we received a grant from the government. And from there, we started to do a clinical trial on epilepsy. These kids that you see here have seizures every day, or, you know, multiple, and they don't respond to medication. So 1/3 of all the patients don't respond to medication. So the idea is, can you do 20 minutes of stimulation during 10 days? Remember, this is non-invasive. You just put the cap to 20 minutes, and can we reduce seizures in all these children that don't respond to medication? And this is the preliminary data we had. So after 10 days of stimulation, the next 8 weeks, we recorded their seizures, and we were able to reduce the seizures of these patients almost 50%, 47%. This is non-invasive, it's not painful, no side effects, and the alternative to these kids is surgery. So we were super happy, and so was the FDA. So now we are starting a pivotal trial in 190 patients in the United States. And if we succeed to replicate these results, we will become the first FDA-cleared transcranial current stimulation device in the world that goes through the FDA. So this is, we are super happy, and this is a sign how science done carefully, you know, bold, slowly, you know, build up over years, can have a tremendous impact in at least 60 million of people only in epilepsy. But of course, we are not going to stop there. We will use all these technologies at home. We really believe with the pandemic that home is the future. This is the way our patients are today receiving stimulation at home. You don't need to go to the clinic. And there is a little calendar that the doctor prescribes you the sessions for Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays between 3 and 5 p.m. You can download your stimulation session, right? So we believe this is the future. And the future will also be personalized. And we are starting again with depression now, all at home, with a new trial. And we have other ongoing, like Alzheimer's, dementia, ADHD. So again, since we started in the Observatory Fabra many, many years ago, I think we have demonstrated how an idea and good science can have a tremendous impact. And we are not yet there, but I think we are super close to have a very, very big impact. And I believe we are going to be world leaders in this. And I really, as a closer, will recommend the EIT community and the scientists in Europe to really follow Neuroelectric as an example of success. And I think that some of the things we learn is that it really takes good science, a lot of time, and a lot of money, especially from grants, to develop, you know, all this deep tech. But the, you know, prototype to product, I think there could be more funding to help to transition from the prototype to the product. I think we need more early stage, high risk funding, more crazy ideas like the FED programs. I think those are awesome. Just really think crazy and see where you get, right? I think access to engineering and business talent is important. We have a lot of people, both in the US, but in Europe, that are coming from Eastern countries. There's so much talent in Europe, in the broader Europe, right? So how do we access that talent, right? I think you really have to adapt. I think the team, having my co-founder, a physicist, a mathematician, me, a business person, was key. And I think you really have to think big and be super ambitious and conquer the world. Just don't stay local or national or European, just target the world to bring good science. Thank you.
And thank you, Ana, for this wonderful example of research and innovation. And good luck on your continuing development. Now, during your networking break, our jury panel has come together to deliberate and decide on which semifinalists will receive our sponsor awards and who will move on to the final in December. So teams, take a deep breath and know that you all did a wonderful job today. Are you ready to hear who has won? There's one man who has all the names in his pocket, and that's Kurt Höller. As director, you get to announce the winners. I'll switch over to you.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Thank you so much. And indeed, it was another great day, the MedTech semifinals that we have all seen today. First of all, thanks again, Anna, for your great and inspiring talk. It's always great to see you, and it's a great example to see how an entrepreneur can act as an innovator, bringing innovation that really has impact on people. And you're also bridging the worlds from EIC, the European Innovation Council, to EIT Health, and of course you are also very successful in your own business. So thank you so much for that very inspiring talk. We also have seen many other inspiring keynotes and talks, and most of you guys won't forget the talk of my very good friend Niklas Holmberg, who this morning gave a lot of private insights what happened to him last night after a dinner with investors and startups. But we also have seen another very interesting keynote, for example, Blanca Jordan from Atos. I have not known so far that healthcare contributes so much to the global pollution, and that if healthcare would be a country, it would be on rank 5, on the 5th rank. And that's something we also should keep in mind if we develop new technology, how we can make sure that it is saving our resources and that it is environmental friendly. As Blanca has said, green is the new black, also in that domain. Now let's proceed to the prices. I outlined that yesterday, but for those that haven't joined the yesterday's edition of the MedTech Catapult semifinals, we have in-kind sponsored awards and prizes summing up to 800,000 euro in-kind services. That's really a lot, and most of them will be already announced now by the two sponsors that we have for the MedTech semifinal. First, I'd like to announce and ask Guy Spiegelman from Amazon Web Services. And those of you who have followed the session yesterday have already heard that story, but I still think it's great. We had started that collaboration already a few years ago for the semi-finalists and finalists in the digital health category. And then at some point of time, this year, it was this year in the SAX forum that EIT Health is also co-sponsoring as a silver sponsor. We had a private meeting and we looked into many areas and fields of potential collaboration. And it turned out that also Amazon Web Services has a big expertise and a strong team in biotech and medtech, and therefore they would like to also provide prizes to those categories. But to provide more insights, Guy, I'd like to hand over to you.
Thank you, Kurt, and thank you, everyone. And I really welcome all of you here and all the winners and all the semi-finalists. Well, you're all winners, actually. And for Amazon Web Services, we have a healthcare life science practice spanning already 7-8 years, with experts who've been in the industry from bench to bedside, people who've had VC background and startup background. And we're here to support you as you grow your business. Anna said it so well, think big, go across the world. And we're here to support you wherever you are, helping you meet your regulatory requirements, helping you experiment with machine learning, helping you with your high performance computing, and helping you with data. And I think that's a special message for medical device companies. You're producing incredible data that can really help the rest of healthcare, and through IoT and other mechanisms, we'd love to be able to help you get that data into researchers' hands and into clinicians' hands to even better your product and better the lives of patients. But without further ado, I'd like to tell everyone here that we are very pleased to support EIT Health Catapult and present to all participants, all semi-finalists, $10,000 in AWS credits for use on the cloud, and for the finalists, $25,000 in credits. The finalists also have access to exclusive mentorship sessions, technical and business mentorship sessions from our team. So again, congratulations to everyone. Thank you to the organizers. It's such a wonderful job. Even though I'd love to be there in person, You've done an amazing job, and congratulations.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you so much. And the key message is everyone who made it into the semifinals is a winner and will benefit from the Amazon Web Services credits and further support. For the second in-kind prize sponsored by a partner, I'd like to hand over to McDermott, Roland, Emery. And yesterday, Emmanuel Tromp has introduced the prize. Today, I'm happy to welcome Anthony Paronneau. Anthony, what will the prize be? What's the your award that you're giving to the most promising MedTech company?
Yes, thank you, Kurt. First of all, thank you for hosting us. We are happy as lawyers just to also help people and promising company like the one we hear today. So we'll help you also in the structuring, whether for investment, licensing, or any regulatory or legal issues that you may have. So it will be an in-kind, of course, contribution to you, but we are really happy just to make your idea happen from a legal standpoint. So we're happy to contribute even a little piece to your project.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anthony. And do we have a winner? Yeah,
actually, it has been very difficult just to make a choice between so many talented companies, but we had to make one. So actually, we've selected Agent. Congrats, guys.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Anthony, for this great prize. We're very happy, and we'll look forward to talk to you.
Please, congratulations. Congratulations to the whole HNT team.
Thanks, Gert.
Very good. Excellent. Then let's move on to the finalists. So who will make it into the final? The prize money that we will provide in the whole for the top 3 winners in the 3 categories sums up to 210,000 euro. That will be awarded on December 3rd. But today we had to decide who are the 7 companies proceeding to the finals. And to help me preparing the stage and the scene, I'd like to ask Roland Kozlowski to get on stage. Roland is speaking on behalf of a great jury. We had Aiden Flanagan, we had Florian Ludwig, Marianne Rosager, Fabrice Rosenstiel, Sascha Berger, and Todd Snowden, and of course, Roland Kozlowski. Roland, what was your insight? So I don't tell anything, but it was certainly one of the most memorable trainings I ever had. Roland.
Okay, so well, thank you for that introduction or lead-in, Kurt. What can I say? Well, before I announce the 7 finalists, I'd just like to summarize, and I have to do this in an anonymous way, but I think the quality of all the presentations, firstly, was exceptionally high, and the range of technologies and activities that companies within our ecosystem are undertaking is really fantastic, and everybody should be exceptionally proud of the job that they're doing. I think it's also worth thanking the EIT for all the effort that they've actually put into making this event possible, and this giving these companies the opportunity to pitch, etc., and be mentored. Super job. So it was a very, very difficult decision to find 7 finalists. And I'm just going to go through them all in no particular order, just as they come on the sheet of paper.
Oh, Roland.
I think we lost Roland, Kurt.
We lost Roland, but anyway, it's my pleasure, and I'm happy to announce the winners. And indeed, I'd like to start with a company that I already know because they already have been a Head Start winner. Maybe not every company has been a Head Start winner, so one company could at least feel close, and that gets even closer if I tell you that this company is coming from Spain. Aortics. Congratulations, Jody Maturel. Congratulations for proceeding to the finals.
Thank you very much. Very excited.
Super. Very much looking forward to see you there. So you already started a great journey, and looking forward how you continue that journey within EIT Health and even beyond, hopefully.
Thanks.
The next prize, the second one, is going to a neighbor country. It's going to France. Cécile Dupont with Gradient. Cécile?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you to all the jury, and thank you as well to EIT for putting together such a great event and mentoring program. I'm really glad. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you as well. I'm looking forward to see you in the finals. We actually go back to Spain. The second Spanish company that has pitched also made it into the final. Javier Jimenez with Newborn Solutions. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Kurt. A true honor. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Very good. Excellent. Great to have you in the finals. Now we move on a bit northern, and we go to Germany. And from Germany we have Paragraphed, Valentin Gesche. Congratulations for proceeding to the finals.
Thank you so much, Kurt. It's a great honor, and I would like to thank the entire EIT Health team. It's been really a pleasure to be on this journey, and thanks a lot.
Super. Looking forward to seeing you in the finals, and I know that the German team has already celebrated yesterday the two companies from Germany and Austria, so I'm sure they will celebrate you as well. And I also saw great celebrations from the Spanish CLC, and as we had two Spanish companies among the first four, I'm absolutely convinced that also our Spanish collocation center has a lot of reasons to celebrate today. But there is also another region, another collocation center with the place with the rank 5. It's not a rank, it's a random order, but the fifth one that I can announce now. We will go to UK. So the United Kingdom has another finalist, and it's Sentinel Biosensor. Dave, congratulations. Congratulations for proceeding to the finals.
Wow, I'm just blown away. That's absolutely incredible news, Kurt. Such high quality other companies, it's just an absolute privilege. So thank you very, very much.
Super. Great to have you, and looking forward to the outcome of the finals. Now, 2 spots are left. Only 2 out of the 7 that I can announce are left, and the one that I will announce now is a company that I know very well, as I have met them very early stage, and we have grown together. Let me call it like that. It's a company that has joined our bootcamp program. So that's a program where you enter as a very early stage company to shape and develop your business model. And I'm super proud to see that this business model works, is successful, and also helps to attract funding, attract money, and get further traction. The next position, the next finalist comes from the Netherlands, and I'm talking about Still. Isbrand, it's a great pleasure to have you in the finals.
Wow, thanks, Kurt. Thanks a lot. I did not see that coming. I'm very, very happy with this result. I will definitely make you proud.
That's what I expect from you. And okay. we had Health Catapult winners in the MedTech space, coming from a bootcamp and coming from the Netherlands. So I'm looking forward to your continuation of that success story. Now we are coming to the last one. Only 7 out of the 14 companies in a semi-final can proceed. Well, 13 in that case, but only 7 can proceed. And let me tell everyone who will not make it, who will not be named now as a last one. Let me congratulate to all of you, because it has been a very tough process. You have survived the regional selections. You have been among the top 2 within the regional selection, and not everyone has been invited to pitch on a regional level. So you already managed to get through 2 steps of this very intensive process. You also got the Amazon Web Service credits, as we have discussed, and you already get great visibility here in this semifinals. And hopefully you'll have also used the one-on-ones to talk to investors and maybe close one of your deals, as we have seen it yesterday. Yesterday, one of, or the winner of last year's biotech finals in the Health Catapult has just announced yesterday that they closed a almost 45 million euro deal. And looking forward to see this magnitude, or something that's coming at least close to that magnitude, also in the MedTech area. But now going back to the last position. The 7th company that will make it into the finals is coming from Ireland. Congratulations to Zone Biomed, and Declan Clark, congratulations for proceeding to the finals. He's not even here.
Thanks very much, Kurt. I'm here indeed. Yeah, absolutely delighted with that result. And that's a wonderful boost for us now as we enter our 2nd lockdown in Ireland. So it'll be a huge boost to all of our team. And it's thanks very much to everybody in the EIT. It's a really fabulous network to be part of. So thanks very much, guys.
Super. Thank you so much, Declan, and congratulations to your whole team. Very well done, and looking forward to the next steps. There is still a few minutes left, and let me thank several people. First of all, let me thank our sponsors for this MedTech semifinals. Amazon Web Services was already mentioned. Guy Spiegelman, thank you so much. Also, Anthony, McDermott, Will, and Emery, I think your prizes are highly welcome and will be extremely helpful to the respective winners. Just underlining again, Amazon Web Service, everyone in the semifinal will benefit from that. Then I'd like to thank again the jury and the very intensive discussion that we had, the many standpoints, points of view that have been exchanged, and the very in-depth discussion, also the very strong personal commitment. That's really important. And if you would like to get in touch with some of the jury members, some of them will be back again in the one-on-one meetings tomorrow. So maybe you can also get in touch with them. A big thanks to the partners that have made it possible and contributed to really make that a success. This morning, today, we have seen Anna Werner from Medical Valley together with Jonas Friedrich, but also Anna Badurska from Cap Digital. That was really extremely well done. Thanks also to Medicine by RN and the colleagues from the Health Access Europe. Maybe you don't know, but we have decided a few years ago that we merged 2 strong competitions, the Health Catapult and the Health Access Europe competition, into one even stronger competition. Thanks a lot to Katie and Michael from Ashfield. You have done a wonderful job again also today. Has not been easy all the time, but well done. Thank you so much. A very special thanks to Anne-Marie van Kampen. You did again a great job today. I got a feedback from the jury that everything, that the whole flow was like in a clockwork. That is a joint team effort, but it certainly is also something that depends on the great moderation. Very well done, and even difficult situations like when the speaker isn't ready yet, you manage that in a wonderful way, and always with your very special smile on your lips. Last but not least, I'd like to thank the teams because it's a teams competition. It's about the teams. It's about your visibility to the innovators out there, to the investors, to the whole community. We do that for you, and it is important that you also make it your event. And today, certainly, you have made it your event. I'd like to close on on behalf of the host that originally would have hosted that event. This event would have been hosted by Medical Valley, by our German regional office, by our German co-location center, but Medical Valley would have been the partner, and they would have invited everyone to the high towers of the Nuremberg insurance company, the Nürnberger Versicherung. So they would have held a dinner in their skyscraper in the city of Nuremberg for 80 people. And unfortunately, you have to make your dinner yourself or go around the corner to the next restaurant to have dinner. But next year, hopefully, we will be able to have the MedTech semi-finals in that city. That's too bad for the startups that can't rejoin next year. But for example, the jury members and the investors that have joined today have the opportunity to be part of that tomorrow, next year. But tomorrow, I'm looking forward to see as many as possible of you also tomorrow for the digital health edition for the last of the 3 days. And of course, super much looking forward to seeing and having all of you for the finals embedded in our 4 days series of summit events. The finals of the EIT Health Catapult will happen on December 3rd. With that, I'd like to give back to Anne-Marie and let her close the meeting for today. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. See you soon.
Thank you, Kurt. And also thank you for your kind words. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have 7 finalists, and that means we've come to the end of our program today. First of all, well done for every team pitching today. Each and every one of you deserve this recognition among the elite of European startups. And of course, congratulations to the winner. Good luck on your preparations for the final. And even though we would have loved to have brought you all up on a big stage with flowers and confetti, do know that we've all been clapping for you when your name was announced. And I will see you in December. A big thank you to all who joined and connected today with us on our networking platform. And a special thank you to the jury, to Kurt, the speakers, and our partners and sponsors who made today possible. Please join us tomorrow for our digital health semi-finalists. And I can tell you that there are some startups there that you do not want to miss. Now, for now, have a lovely afternoon, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.